Well, hello, everybody. We are going to be talking today on the Tarot Lounge about Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Well, hey, Boo Thing, how you doing, Hershey the Shadow Reader?
Hey, I'm doing okay. How are you doing, babe?
Oh, all right. It's been a hot minute since I've seen you, but I'm glad to be back, and I'm glad to see you again, of course. Um, and you celebrated your birthday. She had her Gemini
I
birthday.
did. I did, I
She's
did,
only
I did.
reached the big 30. You know, only 30.
Thank
Like
you.
myself, I'm 29. 29. I'm 29,
Oh, is that right? Oh, okay. All right.
I know that if I pulled these cards right now and is PD 29 years old, it would said the bullshit card would come up, right? So no, but today we're going to be talking about Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Now, I know that y'all have probably heard about Gypsy Rose. Who has not heard about Gypsy Rose? I mean, she just got done serving her. It was supposed to be a 10-year sentence. Oh, you haven't heard about Gypsy Rose? Okay. I sent you the little
Not
6
till
minute
today.
video. Yeah, not till today. So,
Right, that's what I'm
wow.
saying. Until
Yeah.
today, I had no idea. Or at least I
Oh,
don't think
gosh.
so. I don't think so.
Well, she was supposed to serve a 10-year sentence. She talked her boyfriend into offing her mother. Her mother had Munchausen syndrome by proxy, I think it's called. And they were constantly putting Gypsy Rose in a state of being sick, looking like she was sick, not feeding her, abusing her. I mean, I think at one point she talks about being chained down and to the bed and refused food. Her mother's name was Dee Dee. And so, this has all happened, and she, got a boyfriend online, talked the boyfriend into offing the mother, and then went to trial. Has been in and served 8 years of that sentence. Was released early. Now she's out. She got married uh, while she was in prison at Chillicothe, Missouri. That's where she was in prison at, in Chillicothe, Missouri. So, anyhow,
Where at? Chillicothe.
Chillicothe,
Okay.
Missouri. Um, so anyhow, she's out and she's like the hottest thing in Hollywood right now. And to me, it's like I'm looking at all this go down here, and I'm like, really? Because to me it's kind of this all is kind of tragic and sad. I want to see what the cards had to say about it. I have some opinions on what I think might be going on and what my I think might go down in the future with her. I want to see if my cards back those opinions. um Hershey, you and I were talking beforehand. I just really don't feel like this is a person that is fully healed, and a person that is really of adult mentality. To be honest with you, what do you think? What are your kind of vibe? What do you before we do any kind of divination? What are you vibing? What's your team say?
I feel like and I this is strictly my opinion, but as a shadow
Mhm.
reader, as someone that deals in shadows and a childhood that gets stolen, taken, innocence robbed, um, emotional placements that our life has started as one form, and then due to uh, parents, unseen forces, family members, strangers, fosters, um, other adults. Sometimes children's innocence doesn't get to happen. They don't get to have experiences like other children. They don't get to learn to play. They don't get to learn to socialize. They don't get to learn adolescent behavior. They don't. There's a lot of missteps there, and I I don't know how mature of a woman I'm actually going to be reading on today. So I really have to keep a lot of shadow in perspective, because if
Mhm.
I'm going to not be biased, then I have to make sure that I'm looking strictly at the shadow part of a person that missed 90% of their life, like I in a way forced upon them, so to speak, whether it was physical abuse, mental, emotional, um it was they were manipulated, they were taken advantage of, they were used, they were um part of the problem because they were forced to believe something that they didn't have the resources to look up, investigate, education, mentality. I mean, I could sit here and go on and on and on the brokenness that I see. And I don't mean to call anybody broken, but that little girl, that wounded child inside that missed every opportunity of scraping her knees, learning to ride the bike, growing her hair out, cutting her hair off. I don't, oh my God. Look, I don't think that she is anywhere near healed. I think she has a lot of healing to do. And I think that she's still in a victim mentality. And I don't know anything negative, but positive is all I can say is she has a lifetime of healing mentally, I think.
Well, I have to agree with you on that because I was watching this interview about her and she was saying, and a lot of times, okay, there's a lot of different dynamics going on here. Number one, you've got the dynamic of what happened to her with the Munchausen syndrome. Okay. Then you have the jail time that she served, for so many years. Those are two very debilitating
Mhm.
things that kind of take away from growing in those stages of the normal growth in stages of life. Then, after coming out of that, getting hit with the press and Hollywood. So, that's not necessarily what reality is like either. But I have to say that I was watching an interview with her, and she was talking about how codependent she just had to be off of her mother. And, she depended on her for everything. And most of the time, she was sitting in a chair because of whatever at the time that her mother was trying to convince everyone that she had. Watching TV. She was
Mhm.
not allowed to try and cook. She was not allowed to play. These are all things that she's learning how to do as an adult, you know, um, just now at the age that she's at after all of this. So I thought it might be
Right.
interesting
Yeah.
yeah, I thought it might be interesting to take a look at the cards and see what the cards have to say. I also kind of want to take a look at love, her love situation. I've got my situation love oracle deck as well. She was married while she was in prison, but she's divorced now, and I am not totally convinced that she's not going to jump back into something again. I just think that it's part of kind of maybe even like
Well, I
the
mean,
mentality.
right. That's kind of what I didn't mean to cut you off there. That's what I was trying to say. Like, she's missed the first crush, I mean, she missed all of that. I'm assuming she missed all of those opportunities to understand what love looks like, feels like. Um,
Well, like
I
dating.
don't know. I don't feel sorry. I don't do the pity thing because I hate that she experienced what she experienced. That's got to be mentally um so heavy that even my sense of heavy, I like, whoa, you know. Um
Hmm.
man, I can't, my heart, it hurts for her, and but not in a pity way though. I don't know how to make that make sense, and also not be biased, because I don't have any reason to be biased. I don't feel sorry for her. She did this, she paid her crime. You break the law, you pay your crime. Okay, so I have to give that slate, a clean slate, if I'm being fair and I'm being just without being judgmental. So um I hope that somebody, a counselor, a therapist, somebody really helps her experience things at whatever age she's at. She can still, because mentality wise, where I think she's kind of balancing at, she's still at an age where it's first time experiences. So,
Hmm.
um,
Yeah.
and that happens, that the age of that prematurity, that 11 to 13, 12. We go through a whole lot of smelling our tails, so I'm not saying that it's going to happen overnight for her. It may take a longer period. Honestly, I don't know. We just really got to see what's in the cards, but this is definitely very curious,
Oh yeah.
mentality wise.
Yeah, and I thought, oh gosh, with Hershey being a shadow worker, this is going to be so interesting to see shadow work
Like, I'm
wise.
over here like itchy, like, oh my god, I want to see what the cards say.
Well, let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, all right. I'll start shuffling.
Let's
But
do it. All right.
I'm
All
so
right.
curious, on the shadow side of things, what comes out. So I'm just gonna kind of just pull cards and see what I see. I'm not even gonna ask any questions. Oh boy. Oh boy, I'm already getting something wild, Hershey.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh
Oh.
boy. Well, oh man, I pulled let's see, one, two, three, four, five of swords, I believe this is. No, this is one, two, three. I've got a new deck here. Um, but it's this card here. And this, to me, this card is always, I can't tell if it's the five or the six of swords, but this card is always represented, leaving things in the past to me. So she's on her way to a new journey. She's moving on. She's leaving the old stuff behind. And on the card, it literally says, "You sure you want to do this, man?" on here. And so it's like, to me, it's giving me the vibe of like, ooh, I don't know about this, but she's going to go ahead and do it anyways. And oh, God forsaken Hershey, I can't believe that I got this card, but I don't know how I feel about it. I got the Empress in reverse. And you know what this is telling me? This is telling me I think that she wants to have kids, which, okay, that's, I think at some point in time, we all wonder, do I want to have kids? Do I not want to have kids here? And on this card, it says, I'm not a regular mom. I'm a cool mom. And, these are kind of like a comic version of the Rider Waite. They have little sayings on them. This to me is I think she's thinking about kids, which makes me kind of nervous. And then over here, my last card that I pulled over here is the Six of Pentacles in reverse, and that's like giving your energy out into the wrong places, being overly generous with something, or handing something out that isn't, handing something out energetically that doesn't need to be given away, sort of a thing. So, yeah, I think we might have baby on the brain, is what I'm seeing through these cards. What did you get?
Okay, you like I kid you not. 17 cards fell out, right?
Ooh, ooh-wee.
Right. So I literally have a story now. I am not bullshitting you. 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, and 9 of cups came out, right? So all kinds of emotion fell out, right?
Mhm.
Uh,
Uh-huh.
you know what? I see a person that took a lot. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? They took a lot. When you think about the 3, the 4, the 5, the 7, the 8, the 9 of cups. Like and then I'm actually using the John's E deck, so I'm literally seeing a panoramic picture, so to speak, because they lay out that way. And
Mhm.
knowing that, you know, sometimes we want to ask for help, but we don't always know how, when we're in a wounded kind of state of mind. But we can't put that wounded version out no more. You know what I mean? Because now we've been to prison. So I see 4 of Pentacles, 7 of Pentacles, and Knight of Pentacles. And the Knight is about hard work. The 7 is about hard work. And then you have the 4, which is about somewhat stability. But then you also have to think about swords are also double sided. They're double edged. So for me, that 4 could also mean miser. You know what I mean? So I have to put that into accountability because they paired that 4 with 2 other hard workers. You think about like the Ebenezer Scrooge story, that very frugal, very miser, very tight with everything. And if she does that and she works hard, I do see her coming into future plannings, having choices to make. Um, I see her standing her ground about something in the future. That could be the children situation. I'm not sure because they paired that with 9 of Swords energy. So the 9, with it being about depression, anxiety, worry, you think about that with with the 2, and I mean with the 7 and the 2 of Wands. So I really do hope and pray that she does a lot of self work. Ownership's only half the battle, and if that's all she's done is taken accountability for the actions of what put her where she ultimately ended up at in Chile, which I've been there. I understand Chillicothe quite well. So I would think that she has a very, very good chance of coming out in this king position, but I think I think that's why so many cards fell out. We do have the Chariot in reverse, the Magician in reverse, and the Hierophant in reverse. So I do have to take that there are huge milestones ahead of her that she hasn't even begun, I apologize, begun to kind of look at. So like I said, again, I'm not calling her broken, but that little girl is so wounded that it's hard for me not to see the struggle that is ahead of her. Like it's only just begun, and she has no idea. I hope. I kind of almost wish the 4 would have been in reverse, because it would have shown her blowing a lot of money, not having the responsibility. But instead, I see it with hard work. I actually see it going the other direction for her. So there may be a fruitful harvest at the end, but it's a long, long road ahead with healing.
You know, it's interesting that you talk about that, because I do have her pulling up as the Queen of Pentacles. She's in reverse, but she is the Queen of Pentacles. Now, she does have an element of something that she has stable there. Otherwise, I wouldn't pull a Pentacles card for her. So she does have some kind of something there that's helping her through this. However, I'm going to say, I don't think it's fully developed, because there's not a complete sense of grounding here. It's like she's figuring it out. She's not there yet. And I'll tell you what I pulled over here too, which this really makes me nervous here. These other 2 cards, I pulled the King of Cups in reverse over here, and literally on this card, it says the Ladies' Man. And look, my thing just went out of focus, but it says on the thing, the Ladies' Man. I think there's going to be somebody that comes in here that's real smooth talking, that's going to try and get in her spotlight a little bit. It's going to be an opportunist. And, this card really made me kind of nervous, and it was the Temperance card in reverse. But let me just show it to you up here, and I'll read what it says. It says, "Just watering down this vodka for your own good, you heathen." It says. Now, to me, and this came in reverse, to me, with the mother's energy, being that of Munchausen by proxy, this card with what it says coming in reverse like this, oh gosh, this is telling me that she's gravitating towards the same kind of energy that she's used to. And that makes me nervous. I don't like it. So I do think.
Isn't this a form? It's just my unclinical diagnosis, but Moonchild, my brain is having non-braining right now.
Oh, it's okay.
Isn't that a form of Stockholm syndrome?
I don't know, but it sure sounds like it.
It's like they're in the same. They're kind of in the same family. I'm gonna have to double check, because, like I said, I literally had 5 seconds to know about the name before the live. So hopefully by premiere tonight, I will have an answer for my own question. But I feel like they're kind of in the same category, same family. First cousins, distant, not that distant apart. Honestly, you repeat patterns that you learn, bad behaviors, and if that's literally the only thing then it's a comfort zone. It doesn't make it right, but we do form those branches of nooks and coves and crannies in our life that become comfort for us, a safe haven, even in the wrong situations and scenarios. Yeah.
All right. Well, I've got my situations love oracle here, so let's just see what I end up pulling here. I'm very curious about love for her. Gosh, I can't believe I pulled that Empress card in reverse. It's just that she's giving me like baby fever vibes. Well, I pulled the separation card, which would this would, be indicative of, her divorce. There was just a separation, right? So I've got this separation card and it says sadness, bitterness, missing you, thinking about you, uncertain about the future. In this case, I think that with the card that fell next to it, which was sunglasses, which is watching, looking, perception, stalking, I really think somebody that is an opportunist was watching this separation. I think that they know who she is. With the sunglasses, watching it, and I think that they're looking for their opportunity to kind of come in. Right now for her, she's ascending. She's trying to learn. She's trying to expand. She's trying to hit that new phase in her life. She wants, I think a good, healthy relationship. However, I think her perception about what healthy is still isn't quite where it needs to be. That's just kind of what I got there. But
so I got the exact opposite. I got I got a rephrase and a reconsider, not the right time. I asked my pendulum and board, and I asked my yawns because I don't have a love deck, which I should probably invest in a love deck, but I don't have a love deck. So I didn't want to use one of my crime decks or whatever, So
yeah.
I got a rephrase and a reconsider. So, again, I think it goes back to when I'm sensing kind of like the high school crushes, the puppy loves, you know what I mean? I think that there's so much immaturity here. I think she's not going to see it as maybe not being content with where she's at.
No, I think that would be kind of similar in a way, because it's like I feel like she doesn't get it. Like, I feel like her perception is off still.
Right. Yeah, like that's what I'm trying to say, but my brain isn't finding the right words.
But I think there's an opportunist that's gonna not. I think there's an opportunist that's going to try and take advantage of her, and I think he's going to be a smooth talker. I do think she's trying. I just don't think that I just don't think she's there. I think it's going to take a while. I think it's going to take a ton of time, a ton of resources. And I'm worried about her mentality, wanting a love in the middle of healing, kind of a thing, because I don't know what her age is. Yeah, but I'm sure she's kind of like wanting to do things that are of her age group, yet mentally, I think she's still back at 13.
Well, right. See, and that's what I was trying to say, but my brain isn't braining right now. So I apologize for not being able to find my words, but that's what I was trying to say. Like, that's what I mean by rephrase and reconsider. I think that she's constantly going to go through that motion, where we go through all of those little crushes for whatever reason, and because she's old enough to act on them, I think she's going to do a whole lot of letting go of different things quite rapidly, but I think money is going to heavily influence those decisions for some reason. Now, why? I don't know why I feel like that, but I also got a maybe on, is there someone, in the eyes of, a mystery person, in the very short near future. And I got a maybe on my pendulum. So that might pair with the letting go, her letting go of where she's at currently for something else.
Let me ask you,
because jumping around a lot.
Let me ask you this, Hershey, because this is kind of what's on my mind here. This is what I kind of am thinking about and wondering to myself. I don't know if this is a fair question to ask. So, but it is what I'm thinking. And I think other people will be thinking this as well. And you tell me what your thoughts are on it. And then we'll just kind of go from there, I think. What I'm wondering is this the type of person? She did get the boyfriend from the internet that did off the mother. Is this the type of person that is capable of committing a big time crime such as that again, or something along the sorts of committing a crime again? It's, not, as something little. I'm curious about that.
I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say yes.
You
And
know,
let me explain why I say yes, okay? The 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 game of the mind is so powerful, right?
mm,
We can take pain for years and years and years, emotional, physical, mental abuse for years and years and years, but when we get a chance to turn it around, mentality wise, where I think she's at, which is very pre-teeny, so to speak.
mhm,
Um, just in the way she talks, the way she thinks, the way she wants to do this and she wants to do this, and she has no control over. That is child mentality. That is
yeah,
uneducated child mentality to me. I am not. I can't call anything other than that. If
mhm,
I am meaning no disrespect to anybody. If anybody feels like I am not. That's just what I'm getting out of my personal opinion.
yeah,
And like I said, I watched 6 minutes of a video,
mhm.
literally 6 minutes, you know, and what I saw is so many levels of immaturity that I see her playing the tit for tat game for a very, very long time. I feel her using mentality, victimhood for financial gain. Yeah, I could see this absolutely. If she doesn't do the work to heal, I absolutely see her taking the easy street and in ways of what you're speaking. Yes, mentality wise, when you take that much and then you can create a situation and then manifest it with intention and it make it happen and come to fruition, whether there's a consequence, be damned or not, then yeah, oh, absolutely. I'd say yes. It's very possibly capable. Manifestation of that amount is incredibly powerful mind game.
I'm pulling some cards right now, and as I pull these cards, I'll tell you what I'm thinking in my head. There went one flying. Um, okay. Well, cards are kind of reiterating what I'm thinking a little bit. I don't think this is a stable person. I think stability is something that this person is going to have to work on all their life. Just, some people, it's easier for them. Other people, it's tougher for them due to their circumstances. I think that stability for this one, I think there's a little bit of a disconnect somewhere where all of a sudden the energy will switch and it'll just majorly, like, impulsively drop out and go. I think she puts on a really great show because I think that she's been very much so brainwashed and trained to do that. That was her entire existence as a child, was, being putting on this
Mhm.
kind of show. She was sort of made to think that she was something that she wasn't, and she had to sort of act out the part, right? And so I think that right now, in front of media and everything, this is a great show. And I think that with the Wheel of Fortune coming in here, it's just a matter of time. We're going through cycles, and the cycle, I do believe, is going to repeat itself. I think that we're going to have some partying that goes on here that also is going to project this forward and sort of, I think, enhance this. The last thing that we need to involve in with, I think, in her situation would be alcohol, or, and I'm not saying that she's on it or anything like that, or drugs or whatever. I'm not saying that, but you know how Hollywood is, and she's right in the thick of Hollywood right now. So I can't say that it wouldn't be easy for her to get her hands on that stuff and go down that road and then have one of these wheel moments where we're right back to where we started at the beginning of that wheel and a new cycle.
Absolutely.
Can't help but say it. But yeah, so that's kind of what I got. And do you have anything else you want to say on her, or does you pretty much so sum it up on your feelings on that, on her?
Well, I can say I've never been in her shoes before. I mean, outside of a few of the parallels that cross with prison, mine was completely different. But we've been in the same prison, roughly same amount of time. Um,
Well, let me
I
ask.
truly hope there's some deep mental healing going on every day, every day. This is not gonna be something that can be handled fragilely or delicately. It has got to be manhandled and controlled and held together and until she's ready to start releasing it. And I think it's just going to get really heavy, and it's going to get heavier and harder, and I think the burdens unfortunately may become very fragile for her. And I think she's going to develop triggers, and counseling is definitely going to be a spot where she can learn to release that through primal releases, writing, um, ultimately telling a very truthful, honest, ownership, heartfelt story, and of course in her version, her way. Everybody's entitled to that.
Yeah.
But you know judgment be damned. Her story deserves to be heard. But I do hope that she seeks out a shaman, a counselor, a therapist, a psychotherapist, um,
A
some
good group of
serious
friends.
deep healing.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Absolutely. She
but
deserves it. She deserves it.
do you think, looking at her life, going from the situation with her mom, the brainwashing essentially, the Munchausen, the abuse, the all that going on, then going right from that situation, which was horrid, to 8 years in Chillicothe, Missouri, prison
Mhm.
system. It's just like one mind control thing to the next kind of mind control. Because I'm God, it's so controlled in there. You know what I'm saying, right? Would you say? I mean, tell me
It's
about it.
beyond controlled. So like I said, I spent a lot of years in prison, and I happened to be locked up at Chillicothe for three or four of my years. And it is for the most part two-man cells. It's very old prison, and there are a lot of things that make that prison unsettling. There's been unfair unalivings that have happened. So there is a mentality there for a damaged, heartbroken little girl, as somebody that was a teenager that went into the system myself, and Chile being one of the rougher ones, because it's so long term established with a lot of lifers and people that don't have anything to lose. So I feel that I feel she's probably learned a lot and maybe even done some serious healing to get where she is, but to realize that she keeps allowing other people to hold control when that's not true. She's literally holding all the cards. She doesn't see it yet. So reality in life itself is going to be a huge adjustment for her, going from what she was to you're a grown adult now and you're a convicted felon. So here, life is just. I think it's going to be a huge reality adjustment. And I think, if anything, somebody like me, a shadow worker, somebody that's been in similar situations, that is just willing to listen, not necessarily be so quick to, you know, throw
Judge.
accusations at them and judge. Yeah, is going to be a good place for her to start, but she has got a long road ahead of her. Long road ahead of her with everything, learning to pay bills, grocery shopping, clothes shopping. What does she like? What does she don't like? What is her theme? What is her non-theme? What is her mojo? You know what I'm saying? There's so much that she has no clue about. And I mean, that's the part that I lost as a child too. So maybe that's why I recognize it.
Yeah.
So I genuinely hope that somebody just gets out there and dances in the rain with her just as much as wanting her to break through with primal releases and healing and journaling and counseling.
Well, I really do wish the best for her. I really do. I hope that everything works out for her. Like you say, her, she keep hope alive, right? And I hope that she gets the right kind of help that she needs in
Absolutely.
order to function, because gosh, I can't hardly even handle this world just with the things that I've gone through, and it's nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? I feel for the girl.
Absolutely. That's what
But
I was saying. Like I'm like, holy shit, I can't even compare it.
God. But all right. Well, I think we'll leave it at that for today. But we're always
Did you have
around.
any questions?
No, I
You
think I
you asked
talked.
me, but did you have anything that I know you feel like um there could be a downward spiral, which
Oh,
is
yeah.
100% valid, right?
Yeah.
Everything in life
Yeah.
is a 50-50. So
Yeah.
w- hypothetically, with what you read and with what I read, because I saw those harvest cards, those hardworking cards, I mean, what do you think? Um, if not the downward spiral, what do you think, would be the best outcome?
I
Hypothetically, of
think
course.
I think that the best outcome for her, but this is kind of by my own kind of experience, so I don't know. I'm trying to kind of put myself in her shoes. I think that by looking at her and seeing her personality, knowing her story and what she's been through, I think the best outcome for her would be for her to focus on herself without other people,
Hmm.
without worrying about baby, fever, without worrying about a boyfriend, would be to focus on herself, tell her story, maybe write a book, maybe get involved with making a movie, because I can tell personally about her, she does like the spotlight and she likes attention. I can see that. So I think take
Hmm.
that and use it to your advantage in a positive way that can help other people, and show that raw side of yourself. And I know she's
Hmm.
doing a lot in Hollywood right now, but I think she should, instead of doing like more of the reality TV and interviews things, she should work on like more of a project with it, more of a documentary, more of a
Absolutely.
movie, something along those sorts that I think would
Hmm.
help other people, and help her in the process. That's what I think. And with all those, harvest
Absolutely.
cards, I think she has the potential for it. With all the cards you were pulling, I really think she has the potential for it. And I think it would be a great outcome for her. So we'll just see if she gets
I do
caught.
too. I really hope she takes the best advantage of everything.
Well, because she's got a lot of great opportunity right now. I mean,
That's what I said. That's what I was saying. Do the best with these opportunities, and make good choices. Like there's
because,
nothing better in making your own choice, and it is a good choice. Doesn't have to
right,
be acceptable or understood by anybody other than you, as long as it is
right.
a good choice and it's your best choice.
I agree. I
I
agree.
wish
I
her
think
all the best. I really do. Maybe one day I would hopefully, you know, maybe get to hear more about her beautiful story, but without shaking my finger at anybody, because I just can't do it without having to, point back at me and shake my finger at myself. I
I think
I
you know what
genuinely
though?
see somebody that's got a lot of opportunity, and broken or not, all I can say is you are not even a survivor. You are a warrior, and you have every opportunity right now to do the best with all of the opportunities that are being laid at your feet. You know, don't play the tit for tat game. Take
I got
and put everything
oh
to longer harvesting. Yeah.
I gotta say though, Hershey, kudos to you though for I mean for being able to come out of that and to do things that are positive and rebuild yourself. And I'm sure it feels kind of like a phoenix moment in a way, or maybe it did, and I don't know, maybe when you go through it doesn't feel like that, but I mean you kind of are, you did that, you were in the system like you said, and I mean
Absolutely. I was, and this ultimately would be the opportunity where I would say, I fell on my face 50 million times. I found 5 zillion ways of what didn't work on everything, even when I
so
got out. Even
it's
when I
not
got
gonna
out. So I
Is that yeah? It's not going to happen right off the bat, right? So, Pete, don't expect that out of
No, like, take your time, take your time. I wasn't the only one, and there was a few other of us that were in our teenage years when we got into the system back in the 90s in Missouri, and one major prison had just flooded, and there was only one other one, so they had to put us in some unorthodox places. So,
it. Mm.
um, oh my gosh. Yeah, it's not going to happen overnight. And where I'm at today is leaps and bounds where I was. And that's why I can't say anything other than make good choices. I wish I would have made better ones, but I do now. I make the best choices for me now, but I didn't know that at a young mentality, getting out in my mid 20s, going in as a teenager and going, "Ooh, I got a whole lot of life to live and a whole lot to play catch up on." And oh boy, I'm just glad I didn't end up in a worse situation.
I tell you
So
what,
I have high hope. I have high hope.
I would have went wild, Hershey. Like I would have gotten out of there and
I
just went
did
completely
for a
nuts.
year. I
Yeah.
did for a whole year. I went asshole crazy. Oh, sorry for the language, but yeah,
No, it's all right.
asshole crazy. Asshole crazy for 1 year, and I buckled down, and I haven't looked back since, nor have I even jaywalked. So
Well, there you go.
I learned a lot of lessons.
I have, on the
A
other
lot of
hand, Jay.
lessons.
All
I No, I
right.
just mean I haven't done it since, is what I'm saying. I haven't done it since.
That's funny. All right. Well, I think this was really interesting, and I hope that y'all enjoy it. And Hershey, as always, it's always a pleasure to be around you and read with you and do our
Love
thing
you, boo
together.
thing.
Love you, boo. Love your face. And as always, guys, I'll catch you